Welcome to Bridgeton, Maine, home of David Drayton, movie poster artist, and his son Billy. Today it is enveloped in a thick white mist. David, Billy, and a significant chunk of the townsfolk end up trapped in their local supermarket as the mist takes over the town. But it's not the mist that they should fear. It's the vicious creatures inside of it. Slowly but surely, the people in the store start to lose their minds with fear, and their rational selves are lost and replaced by monsters in their own right, who are willing to do anything, no matter how horrific, to save themselves. From director Frank Darabont, our selection today is 2007's The Mist. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And I'm Austin Johnson.
And welcome to the first Filmgazm of 2020. Happy New Year, listeners. 2019 is dead and buried, and 2020 has risen in its place. Here's to a phenomenal decade. Make it the best one yet.
Hell yeah. I think we just had the best year in movies in the decade.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, I don't remember which episode, but you said something about the nines.
Yeah.
It's really...
99, 89, yeah.
It always works really well.
Yeah. I've actually been looking, just out of curiosity, over the years. I think there's no competition. I think 2019 is better than 2010, 11, 12, so on and so forth. I think it's the best.
It has been.
I wouldn't even say it's recency bias. I think these are just really, really good movies.
Yeah.
That have happened this year, and it's been awesome. I'm so glad we've been able to talk about some of them.
Oh, yes.
And we're still going to be diving into more as time goes on. We're still going to be releasing Uncut Gems. We're going to be doing, what else do we have?
We got a Richard Jewell plan.
1917.
We're going to do.
Just Mercy comes out at the same. Also.
Possibly Bombshell.
Yeah.
So 2019 is not over yet for us.
Exactly. So for us, we're still going to be talking about films from 2019. But, and also moving forward in 2020.
Yeah.
It's great.
It is good. It's really cool.
Very exciting.
And I am very excited to dive into The Mist.
Oh, yes. 2007 classic.
One of my favorite horror films of the 2000s. Easily one of the most well-adapted King stories.
Yeah. Frank Darabont, man. Yeah.
The guy has a vein right into King. It's amazing. And I think this is one that doesn't get enough credit. When people talk about great Stephen King adaptations, I don't often hear The Mist.
It doesn't even get mentioned. Yeah.
But it scares the shit out of me. It's one of the scariest character stories he's ever done.
It's one of my favorite King films. Maybe my top 5. I don't know. I have to really look at that. It's hard.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But this is like, man, it spooks me out, man. And talk about a vibe, a certain atmosphere you get.
It's not even about the monsters either. It's about what people are willing to do to one another.
And the sounds and the characterizations here are amazing because of the situation they're put in. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's brilliant.
Fantastic. We hope you enjoyed last week's Black Christmas episode, another underrated horror classic that deserves praise. Next week, we're celebrating another Weird Shit Wednesday, this time diving into the back-to-back critical disaster that was Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Joel Schumacher's timeless contribution to the Batman franchise.
Can't wait.
How did these films come about? Why did nobody stop this? Find out next week. But first, it's time for the Rewind, where we look for updates on past episodes. Got a few for you today. One on episode 5, Quentin Tarantino. One on episode 14, Carrie. And another on bonus number 8, Joker. First, Quentin Tarantino will be receiving the Director of the Year award at the upcoming Palm Springs International Film Festival for his work on his 9th feature film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And well-deserved.
Well-deserved.
Yeah.
For sure. I'd encourage anyone who's a fan of his. He was just on, I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
He's just on the Rewatchables podcast as a guest. The Rewatchables is a podcast that talks about a specific film, and they dive into the history of it and what it means for our culture. And they typically don't have a guest on. It's just usually 2 or 3 people that work for The Ringer and for the Rewatchables podcast. They had Quentin Tarantino as a guest, and he is talking about the first one. He's going to be doing 3 films that he's choosing all of them. The first one was Dunkirk. That just came out yesterday. So I would highly encourage fans of his to go check that out because it's rare that you find him as open as he is in these. So, yeah, definitely go check it out if you're a Tarantino fan.
Absolutely.
And, the guy just keeps adding on things to his resume. They're like, oh, okay, yeah.
I think this is the best chance he's ever had at taking director at the Oscars.
And Best Picture.
Maybe.
Like his film taking Best Picture.
Here's hoping.
There's an actual race going on right now.
I think he's a ringer for screenplay this year.
Do you think you have an idea, like legitimate prediction at what's going to win Best Picture?
I got nothing. I hope it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I think it's like a 5-way race.
It's anybody's game.
Marriage Story,
Yeah.
Parasite could sneak in.
I think Joker even has
Once
a
Upon
chance.
a Time,
It's crazy.
Uncut Gems, like Uncut Gems has done exactly what it wanted to do. It's
Yeah.
like a huge hit. Didn't spend a lot of money. Has these awesome stars in it, and it's actually really good. The performances are really good. The intensity is really high, and people love it. So those are the kind of movies that sometimes sneak in at the Oscars, and like Moonlight,
Yeah.
an A24 film that snuck in, made some good money. People were like, "Yo, this is really cool. This is really different." I kind of feel that way. Obviously, Uncut Gems is a way different film, but
Yeah.
I feel that way about the word of mouth and the just kind of the
Well, it
whirlwind
always-
around it.
It always feels more heartwarming when an indie film gets that kind of attention.
For sure.
The awards
And Uncut Gems, just for anyone out there who's interested, is the highest for opening box office opening weekend, the highest A24. They've made the most money for an opening weekend.
That's fantastic.
Uncut Gems,
That's great.
Previously, like Hereditary did really well. The films like that, Midsommar, but that's great. You gotta think it's Adam Sandler who kind of drew that. Those people who didn't quite know what they were getting into.
Oh, yeah.
Great film. Definitely be on the lookout for our bonus on that one.
Yeah, we'll be launching that in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's so much fun. What a great movie.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, Connor and I we've kind of seen everything.
For the most part.
That's good. Pretty much everything that's up for like a Golden Globe that we can right now. We have Sam Mendes, 1917, which is going to make a lot of noise.
Yes.
We're both very excited to see that. But we went out and saw Richard Jewell recently. We're trying to cover all of our bases so we can be ready for that race. Because I really do I have no idea. If I had to predict right now, I would say Marriage Story, but I don't know. I really don't know.
I like not knowing. I like
Me
there
too.
not being a sure
Me
thing
too.
for
And
once.
and I like not knowing when they're all movies I like.
Yeah. Because last year you hated most of them.
Yeah, well, I didn't hate two of them. Two of them I thought shouldn't be there, and that would be Green Book and Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
I don't think they belonged anywhere near there. If Beale Street Could Talk was pulled out for those two, come on, man. That's crazy talk. I just thought there were other movies that were better last year.
Yeah.
I think this year is superior. All around. I think we have better horror. I don't know if we have better horror because Hereditary came out last year, but I think all around it's just been a better year.
Yeah.
Endgame was unbelievable. Blew everybody's mind. I haven't seen the new Star Wars, so I can't say. But I've enjoyed the balance of giant films doing well and actually being good content, and then stuff that's like you said, the indie, the A24 stuff. It's been great.
It has been great.
Quite enjoyed it.
It's been a nice year.
Yeah, the Oscars are going to be great. Can't wait. Globes not so much.
Yeah.
they're just kind of fun.
They're the trashy Oscars.
Yeah.
We all know that. Next up, FX has announced an upcoming limited series remake of Stephen King's Carrie. Nobody has been attached to it yet, as the project is in early stages. I don't know how I feel about this. Of all the King content out there, why do you pick the one that's been done to death? I don't know.
Only if it's in the right hands will I even try watching it.
Yeah.
I won't have much faith.
Carrie it's never going to be topped. The 76 classic is one of the best.
Arguably the best. Some could say, obviously there's like the heavy hitters, but you could say it's, I wouldn't have a problem with someone saying it's their favorite or the best Stephen King adaptation.
I think it's one of the heavy hitters for sure.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's frightening from the 70s. It's.
I think they're going to, when they do make this, I feel like they're going to suffer the same problem the 2013 version had, where they cast a girl who's conventionally pretty and we're supposed to believe that she's, picked on because she looks different. Like, Chloe Moretz, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I feel like
They're going to do that again. Finally, Kevin Smith has claimed that there exists an alternate ending to Todd Phillips' Joker, one where Arthur Fleck is responsible for the murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne, as well as the surprise murder of Bruce Wayne immediately after. He hasn't named a source, but he says it's somebody close to the production. This ending would have changed everything for the movie and the possible future DCEU connections by creating a world without Batman, where the Joker and his anarchy reign supreme. What do you think about this ending? Too much?
Yeah, and I'm so in that dream world of that we're possibly going to see within the next 5 years, like Joaquin and Robert Pattinson on the same screen
Maybe, yeah.
as Batman and Joker. and I'm all my marbles in my mind are on that. So I'm just not really. That doesn't really pique my interest.
Well, I'm sure that DC executives didn't sign off on that because they possibly want to use Joaquin later on.
I think DC is obviously not. I think they obviously are in the point where they have to take some risk and make some gambles and do some things because they're so far behind their competitor, Marvel, Disney.
Not even a race anymore.
No, exactly. That's why when I say I think, it's like, well, obviously the facts are there. The content hasn't been as good. Joker is finally this movie where it's like, oh, okay. For the first time in 10 years, we're seeing some really good stuff from DC. So that's really exciting. And I want them to protect that and hold on to that like Marvel has with their shit.
Yeah.
Take care of their characters. Don't be stupid. Don't kill off the don't do that. I don't think that would be. What are we gonna have? One sequel with Joaquin like reigning over Gotham and like then it's over. I want some stakes.
Well, I feel like DC's biggest problem is when they get something that's successful, they analyze it to death and they fuck up what's next.
Fumble the shit out of it. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Like Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. That was a success because they let her do her own thing. And I feel like they're going to micromanage the fuck out of Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be a disaster. Same deal with Aquaman. They let James Wan just do whatever he wanted, and it was a huge hit for them. They just don't get it.
No.
I have heard, though, because of the success of Joker, they are considering a lot more standalone, darker stories.
Yeah.
And what's being tossed around right now is a possible Batman Beyond live action.
It'd be great.
And they do want Michael Keaton as older Bruce Wayne.
Be great.
Which would be amazing.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
Wouldn't that be funny? After 2014's Birdman.
I know, right?
Or 2015, 14, 15? I don't know.
14.
Yeah, 14, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because The Revenant was 15.
Whiplash is 14 as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they came out the same year, I know that, yeah.
Yeah, they were up against each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like upset. It's like, Whiplash is like timeless. Come on.
It's one of,
I love Birdman. I really do. I love some aspects of it. I love the percussion. I like the cinematography a lot. And I love all the performances. The content is a little pretentious.
I find that to be the case with a lot of movies about movies.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood sucking its own dick, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That gets, redundant.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, for sure.
I did think Birdman was a great movie. I think Michael Keaton delivered.
Zach Galifianakis was awesome. Edward Norton was a knockout. Yeah.
But Whiplash was the superior film that year, no doubt.
But yeah, Whiplash will stand. Yeah. 50 years from now, people will be talking about that.
That movie affected me way more than I expected to, and I think about it all the time.
Still, yeah. One of the best of the decade, for sure.
For sure. All right, that's all we got for the rewind. Had some meaty stuff this week.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about The Mist.
Let's do this.
The Mist began as a novella by Stephen King that was first published in the collaborative short story collection Dark Forces in 1980. It featured 23 original horror stories, with King being the headliner. I'd love to get my hands on this.
Oh, yes.
It's probably pretty hard to find.
Yeah, expensive too, maybe.
The Mist was later edited and included in King's 1985 short story collection Skeleton Crew. Great read, some of his best stuff in that one. It was finally released as its own entity in a paperback in 2007 to coincide with the movie. And I have read The Mist. It's a fantastic story.
Hell yeah. I haven't got around to that one, but...
Apart from the ending of the movie, it's the same exact story.
Sweet.
The Mist was released in 2007 and was directed by Frank Darabont, future developer of AMC's flagship series The Walking Dead. He's a 3-time Oscar nominee, having been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for his work on 94's The Shawshank Redemption and 99's The Green Mile, the latter of which he also received a nomination for Best Picture for producing. He's the go-to guy when it comes to Stephen King's work.
Yeah.
He follows a story almost to the letter and only deviates when absolutely necessary. All 3 of his King movies are solid gold.
Yes.
After Darabont was fired during The Walking Dead's second season for pretty much being an all-around dick, he developed one short-lived series on TNT called Mob City in 2013, and he's pretty much disappeared since then.
Yeah.
He's notoriously difficult to work with. He harassed the crew, demanded unreasonable shit from AMC that eventually the show did get, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
And the guy's career has just disappeared because nobody wants to work with him. Which is really sad because the movies he's developed were incredible.
Yeah.
But the guy's ego is out of control.
And that has to be, you have to take that into account.
Yeah, big time.
That's really frustrating. Can you imagine just like you're making something amazing. Like people were working on Shawshank, and you're just like, this guy though, this fucking guy. His name's gonna be everywhere.
You look at his IMDb photo, and he looks like a snarky son of a bitch.
Yeah, indeed.
The film stars Thomas Jane as David Drayton, our hero. Jane is a character actor who has been in a ton of stuff, notably Deep Blue Sea, Boogie Nights, The Thin Red Line, Magnolia, and the 2004 Punisher film as Frank Castle. To many fans, he's still the definitive Punisher.
Yes.
And his film's pretty damn good.
Yeah?
It did not get well received at the time, but it's aged pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. Especially for that character, the Punisher, yeah.
I like John Travolta as Howard Saint. Such an over-the-top gangster caricature, but makes me laugh. Oscar winner Marcia Gay Harden plays Mrs. Carmody, one of the scariest villains King ever created. If you've seen the movie, you know why.
Yeah.
Harden won an Oscar for her performance in 2000's Pollock and was also nominated for her role in 2003's Mystic River.
Love Mystic River.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
She's also appeared in Miller's Crossing, Into the Wild, The Hoax, and the TV series Damages, among others.
Yeah, man.
She's a highly underrated actress. She really delivers almost every time.
Yeah. I feel like the generation above us knows her well.
Yeah.
And respects her, but like people our age,
not really.
They don't quite know who she is, which is frustrating. Yeah.
It is frustrating.
Because she is, to me, she's like the standout Mystic River amongst some great actors.
I don't know about that, but she is good, but I wouldn't say she's the standout.
I think she's, obviously Sean Penn, gets a lot of love. Tim Robbins, Kevin Bacon. I think she's better than all three of them, in that movie. I think she's great in that movie.
That's high praise.
Yeah. It's a great, they're all amazing. It's one of I love that movie. I love Mystic River. It's awesome.
It's a sad movie.
Very.
But it's really good. Laurie Holden plays Amanda Dunfree, local school teacher and friend of David's. Holden is perhaps best known these days for playing the most hated character on The Walking Dead, Andrea, who was killed off in Season 3 due to fan backlash, despite being a huge character in the comics. She also had recurring roles on The X-Files, The Shield, and The Americans, among others. Something about her rubs me the wrong way. I never liked Laurie Holden. I think it is The Walking Dead.
One of those people. Yeah, I see. I'm not a Walking Dead guy.
I didn't like her in The X-Files either. She was a double.
There you go. Yeah,
she was a double dealing bitch in that too.
That I do know. Yeah, I'm with you.
Andre Braugher plays Brent Norton, David's arrogant lawyer neighbor. Braugher is best known for his role as Captain Ray Holt on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah,
and he is such a prick in this movie.
He
kind of gets what's coming to him though. Like
hell yeah. This guy sucks. Yeah. Not a fucking team player.
Absolutely not.
This guy's he's like a, I don't even know who I'd compare him to.
He's bitter about old shit. He's clearly not grasping the gravity of the situation.
No.
He thinks that everybody in the store is trying to put one on him.
Yeah.
Like
dumbass.
The arrogance.
You've lost your mind.
Toby Jones plays Ollie Weeks, supermarket employee turned goddamn hero, and my favorite character in the movie.
Hell yeah.
Jones is known for his role as Dr. Arnim Zola in the Captain America franchise and as the voice of Dobby in the Harry Potter franchise.
Yes.
But he is also a highly accomplished theater actor and well-respected by his peers. Toby Jones is a treasure.
Hell yeah. My favorite character as well.
Oh, goddamn. I love him so much.
Yeah.
He immediately is like, get your shit together. This is a crisis. And he never misses a shot with that gun.
He's us. Yeah, he's the audience. Like, yeah, like I'm with you, man.
The man. William Sadler plays Jim, one of the most tragic characters in the movie, I think.
Yes.
Sadler has worked with Darabont a lot, playing Haywood in The Shawshank Redemption and Klaus Detrick in The Green Mile. He also played President Ellis in Iron Man 3 and 3 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And for you deep cut fans, he's the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Hey.
A role he is set to reprise for Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yes.
I had no idea until I looked this up that was the Grim Reaper. I couldn't believe that.
Can't wait.
Jeffrey DeMunn plays Dan Miller, the first one to survive the creatures in the mist. DeMunn is another Darabont player appearing in The Shawshank Redemption as the prosecuting attorney in the beginning of the film, and in The Green Mile as Harry Terwilliger, and in The Walking Dead as Dale Horvath. He's also Captain Estridge in past Filmgazm topic, The Hitcher. So he's been around for a while. Done a lot of stuff.
Mr. Dufresne.
Yeah. Immediately, you hate him.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even know if Andy's innocent until like
you're
halfway through the movie.
The first 5 minutes of the movie, you're so upset. You're like, what's happening to this guy, man?
Why do we have such an... We'll save it. We could, gotta hold myself back. All right. Frances Sternhagen plays Irene Repler, the most badass grandma in Maine. Sternhagen appeared in Misery as Virginia and had recurring roles on Sex and the City, ER, and Cheers, among others, big TV actress. And her character is awesome.
Fuck yeah.
She throws that can of peas at Mrs. Carmody. It's like, stoning people in the Bible is fine, and I've got plenty of peas. I love it.
So good.
Finally, Sam Witwer plays Private Jessup, the soldier who gets sacrificed to the monsters. Witwer is an accomplished character actor, appearing in shows like Dexter, Smallville, Being Human, and Star Wars The Clone Wars as the voice of Darth Maul. He also played Starkiller and Emperor Palpatine in the Force Unleashed video game franchise. I knew he was Starkiller. I had no idea he was the Emperor.
Yeah.
I looked up some cutscenes. Jesus Christ, he was so good. I thought it was Ian McDermott. I really did.
It's crazy.
And I actually met him at Virginia Beach Comic-Con a few years ago, and he seemed like a cool dude. Shook my hand.
Very nice.
He was just walking around, and I walked up to him and was like, hey, man, I'm a big fan. He's like, oh, thank you very much. And I shook his hand.
That's great.
I was dressed up as the Joker at the time.
Nice.
I regret. Looking
Yeah.
back,
I
wish I'd approached him as a normal human being.
Yeah.
The Mist has an IMDb score of 7.1, Rotten Tomatoes score of 72%. It was a box office hit, grossing $57 million on a budget of $18 million. It remains Darabont's last directed film before his apparent exile, and I would love to see him do The Stand.
Oh.
He's the guy
Agreed.
who should do The Stand.
That would be epic.
My God.
We need this.
Oh. You pick any King property, and I want him to do it. He's the guy. All right. Let's go into the plot of The Mist. So we open on a thunderstorm damaging David Drayton's house and a mist rolling in on the river or on the lake. Nobody really knows what's going on. They're like, we haven't had mist around these parts in quite some time.
Yeah. What is theirs?
That's my main accent. It's pretty bad, I know. Sounds like a lighthouse keeper. There's a storm coming. Well, David leaves his wife, Stephanie, at home to go buy supplies with his 8-year-old son, Billy, and their neighbor, Brent Norton, who David has some past issues with. There's a lawsuit hanging overhead, and there's tension. And I don't remember why. Like, the lawsuit's in the book, but I don't remember what, like, it's not really explained in the movie why there's tension. I don't remember. But it's fine.
It's fine.
I buy it.
It's there. It would be there.
It's very much there. You
Yeah,
can feel
exactly.
it.
It's in the air. It's in the mist.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the mist.
Cuts right through that mist like butter. They start heading over to the supermarket, and they see like Humvees and Jeeps just driving past them, and they're like, what's going on over there?
Fucking World War Z.
Something's happening here. And they go in the store, and they start shopping, and 3 soldiers enter the store. They're on leave, and then an MP shows up and tells them, all leave's been canceled, we need to get to the base. And then the civil defense siren starts sounding. The build-up in this movie is brilliant.
Perfect.
That's a scary noise.
That's my favorite. That's to me what's aged the best about the movie is that sound.
It's perfect small town sphere right there.
Yep. Everyone can hear it.
Everyone can hear it, and everyone has a different reaction.
And
to
you
it.
don't when you're watching the movie, you're not concerned about any other town that's outside of this town. You know what I mean?
You're concerned about the store.
Yeah.
You're not really that concerned about
Even
the
more
town.
focused. Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
It's awesome.
They're just like, some people are like, this is a prank. Some people are like, that's weird. Some people are like, it's the Russians. Some people are thinking, what the hell is this? And then Dan Miller runs into the store covered in blood, screaming, there's something in the mist.
Yeah.
And then you just see the mist cover the parking lot. And you can't see 5 inches in front of your nose.
It's like white. Yeah.
And then there's an earthquake, and shit people are like, what the hell is going on? And Mrs. Carmody, this very religious nutball, starts spouting that it's Armageddon, end of days, repent. And everyone else is like, let's calm down. Let's not go straight to end of the world. This is probably a thick fog or some kind of chemical spill, something.
Yeah.
And this woman says, I gotta go get my kids. Like, I can't just stay here. I need to go get my kids. And everyone's like, you probably shouldn't leave. We don't know what's on out there. And she's like, well, is anyone gonna help me? And nobody fesses up. Nobody helps her, and she just goes, "You can all go to hell," and just goes straight through the mist. Whew. And that's Melissa McBride, who plays Carol on The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Another Darabont mainstay. David, is taking care of his son. He wants to know what's going on with his wife, wants to know if she's okay, but there's nowhere to go. Everyone's afraid to go in the mist because Dan said there's something in there. So he goes in the back and finds the store's generator is venting exhaust into the loading bay, and something rattles the window, the door, the outside, the loading dock door. It's terrifying because at this point you don't know what's going on either.
No idea.
And he goes to get some people and says the generator's clogged and something rattled the door. And Jim and I don't remember the other guy's name. It was an M or something. But Jim and this other guy and Norm the bagger all call him an idiot and say, you don't know what you're talking about. And Jim goes straight to, "You went to college, how dare you think you're better than me?" Which kind of came out of nowhere.
Okay.
He's clearly got some resentment.
Yeah.
And they open the door to let Norm go outside and fix the clog. And this giant-ass tentacle comes in and grabs Norm. Shit.
Tears him apart, yeah.
It's creepy. They're like tentacles that rip his skin off.
Yeah.
The suction cups are so powerful, they're ripping him apart.
Still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
2007.
There's a little bit of a shine, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's
like
07.
It's almost like a glare.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah.
A little fuzzy.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's clear that it's CGI, but it's very good CGI.
Yes.
And the storeman, everyone just kind of, Jim and the other guy just fall back and are petrified. David's the only one who tries to help him. Oh, and Ollie, who's there too.
Yeah.
They help him.
Yeah.
They don't help. They don't, they can't fight off this tentacle thing. They do, however, chop off a piece of it and close the door. Norm gets sucked into oblivion. They go to talk to store manager Bud and this biker dude who's just kind of walking around.
Yeah, that guy cracks me up.
He becomes part of the solution, which is hilarious.
Cracks me up that guy was just grocery shopping, You know what I mean?
It's hilarious.
Because you think about it, you're like, man, fuck, I wish I would have stayed home and
What's
not gotten groceries today.
What's brilliant, you think of a small town grocery store, if you just lock the doors at any given moment in the middle of the day, you're just going to tell me what kind of person's going to be in there. You'll get all sorts.
Yeah.
And I love that the movie does that. You've got all sorts.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All sorts you'd find in Maine.
Yes.
And Bud and this biker are convinced, there's a tentacle there. And I love Bud walks out of the loading dock we may have a bigger problem than we thought.
Yeah.
No shit.
There's something out there, man. Yeah.
And they try to get Brent Norton involved, and he's like, no, I see what you're doing here. You're pulling a fast one. I'm not stupid. And he turns into lawyer mode. It's this is because you sued me and won. That's why. So fuck you and fuck you. And just goes off on this crazy tirade. And they're all like, dude, we got evidence back there. Just look at it. He's like, oh, what? You think I'm going to go back there and get fooled by a rubber snake? No. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And I think it's equal parts arrogance and equal parts real fear that he is going to see something back there.
It's definitely a legitimate fear.
Yeah.
Of being wrong, too. And, people, not wanting to follow him or whatever. He's such a strange character.
So they decide to barricade the front windows with dog food, which is smart. And Brent decides that he's going to lead a group of people to leave. They're going to go get his car and they're going to get out of there. And the biker agrees to go out and try to get this other guy's truck. This dude with the mustache, who I thought immediately was going to be a bad guy, is straight up yeah, I'm going to help you guys out. Yeah, here's my truck.
Yeah.
Nice dude. I liked him a lot. He gives the biker his keys to his truck and says I'm just parked right over there. You can get us over. You can get it over here. We can all get out.
Yeah, because he's like, I saw your shotgun. That might help us,
Yeah.
So I love that.
So the biker.
I love two men just
yeah.
You got a gun? I'll go get it, man. Just give me the keys, Just making a nice little socialist, agreement right there. It's awesome.
So the biker ties this rope around his waist. Brent's group go out into the mist, and they are never seen again.
Yeah, no.
And you just see the rope fly out of the window.
And you're not even surprised.
No.
You're like, this, yeah. You're like, going up there pretty much means death.
And the survivors pull back the rope, and you just see the rope soaked in blood.
Yeah.
And they pull back the biker's legs.
Gruesome.
Jesus Christ.
Gruesome.
Ugh.
And you got the like great reaction from everybody like once they see the blood.
Some of them are freaked out. Some of them are like, "Oh God,
Come on!"
And around this time, they start asking like, "Does anybody have a gun? Like, how are we going to defend ourselves against these things?" And what's her name? Laurie Holden's character, Amanda. She pulls a gun out of her purse and says, husband wanted me to protect myself. And Bud starts asking, like, is anybody here a good shot? And Ollie's like, yeah, state champion. Like, all right.
I love that.
And Bud's like, you're a fucking bag boy. You don't know. And I love that Ollie says, like, he says something like, we'll talk about this later, but right now, shut the fuck up and listen.
Yes, yeah.
God damn.
So good.
And he is a great shot. He doesn't miss a single shot with that gun.
Amazing.
So,
state champion.
Ollie has the gun. Night falls, and these giant insects show up, and that freaked me out. Reminded me of that the like monster pit in King Kong.
Yeah.
Like these things came from Skull Island.
King Kong is scary.
That movie is terrifying.
We're gonna do that.
Yes, we are.
It's a horror movie.
It stayed with. I've only seen it like 3 times as a kid, and it has stayed with me ever since.
Yeah. I had friends when I was younger because that came out like 2005?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, we were young.
That was Peter Jackson's follow-up to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I really like it. I think it still looks amazing.
I think it's too long.
It is a little long. I was about to say that. It takes too long to get there.
Yes.
Which the first time I saw it was like epic, and you're like, oh, that build up, but then you're just like, all right.
The second that slug thing ate Andy Serkis's head, dude, I was checked out and I had nightmares from it.
Yeah. I
was 10 years old. I didn't need that shit.
There's some big old critters in that.
Ugh.
Don't like them.
Ugh.
Fuck bugs.
Goddamn. So yeah, these giant insects fly around. They get one of the sales clerks. And she has such a grisly fucking death. It stings her, and she just balloons up, and you just know she suffered. And,
greatly.
Oh, yeah. And that's Alexa Davalos. For you Angel fans, she was Gwen Raiden, the girl with electric powers.
Nice.
Who hooked up with Angel a couple times.
Can't say I watched. Yeah.
I was a big fan.
Yeah.
And she just, the thing bites her on the neck, or stings her on the neck, and her face and neck just balloon up. It's frightening.
Incredible.
I thought she was going to explode.
Yeah, it was like Willy Wonka. Yeah.
And these things just start attacking people, and the people, David's like beating one to death with a crowbar, and they're lighting him on fire. It's like they're cavemen.
Yeah.
And one of them lands on Mrs. Carmody, and it doesn't bite her. And this immediately starts making people think she's a prophet. Because she's been screaming about Armageddon and how we must repent and how this is God's judgment upon us. And now the monsters won't hurt her.
They're like, huh.
In reality, it's probably just, the same deal as a wasp. You don't bother it won't bother you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. They're more scared of you than you're scared of it.
And she starts praying, and that didn't help. Oh, God. Everything that has to go wrong for this woman to get power is so infuriating every time I watch this. So David starts realizing we need to get the fuck out of here. This lady's getting stronger, and eventually she's going to start demanding things because she's getting a following. So they decide we're going to go to the pharmacy next door, King's Pharmacy, by the way.
So good.
And he takes Dan, Private Jessup, and Mike, Bobby, I don't remember who they are, probably cannon fodder, and Irene and Jim and Ollie to the neighboring pharmacy. And this is a freaking creepy ass scene because the pharmacy is just decked out in spider webs.
Yeah.
And you see the MP from earlier, strung up on the wall, and he's just like, it's our fault. I'm sorry, it's our fault. And just spiders just crawl out of that guy. It was so unnerving. Ugh. Ugh. Mike and Bobby are killed by the spiders. Yep, see?
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
They get some of the supplies and they get the hell out of there. And when they get back, Mrs. Carmody has already recruited the survivors to the to her side. Jim especially, who's just really fucked up from all of this. And the other 2 soldiers who came in with Jessup hang themselves in the back room.
Oof.
Ugh. And Jessup says, like, they were talking about it, but I didn't think they'd really do it. Like, it's really getting, like, the despair is real.
For sure.
Oof.
I can't say enough. Every scene you're going through, I love.
Yeah.
I'm realizing I liked it more than that happens a lot when you just kind of talk about each scene.
Oh, yeah.
They just kind of start stacking up.
I know.
And the atmosphere just keeps kind of creeping in on you. And then there's like a scare. There's no escape
Oh, no.
until the credits.
It's terrifying.
It really is. Yeah. This is a great one.
Good pick. I love when it's a good pick.
Well, yeah, with the king, he has so many cool stories. The films there's so many.
I know.
And there's been so many different kinds of
novels
people.
and short stories and so much.
And so many directors and writers and screenplays and all these different kinds of ideas and minds going into it for it to work the way it did here. It's just awesome. It's awesome.
And Jessup starts talking to everybody, like, we know, like, they said that there was something going on at the military base. Jim overhears this, grabs Jessup and hurls him into Mrs. Carmody's people and says, it was this son of a bitch. It was his fault, his people. They did this. And he starts saying, like, they said something about the Arrowhead Project, something about opening other dimensions, and I think maybe they did it. And Mrs. Carmody says, he needs to be sacrificed. He did this. It's his fault. Like, just the jumps of, like, the leaps in logic here. Ugh, she just wants blood. She's vicious. She's a monster. And I love how vague the answer to what all this is. You know, just Arrowhead Project, a government attempt to open portals to other dimensions.
Yeah.
And something came through. That is all you need. Because it's immediately like, fuck, that's terrifying. Because that, I could see that happening. Like, in the near future, if we figure out a way to possibly reach other dimensions, we're going to open a door to hell. Like, shit's going to come through, man.
Agreed.
Oh, God. Creepy. And the butcher guy at the store just starts stabbing Jessup with a giant knife, and this mob grabs Jessup and throws him out the front door. So sad. And this giant praying mantis thing grabs him and just eats him.
Oh, dude. Amazing. Amazing. That creature makes me feel like I'm 10 again. I'm just like, whoa,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The monsters are so creative.
Yeah, you're just like, what the fuck? Yeah, freaked out. Freaked out, but at the same time, just enthralled by the stature and the noise. You just love that shit, I don't know. I've always loved that stuff growing up. From A Bug's Life to to King Kong to The Mist. Oh, man.
So the next morning, David realizes, all right, we need to get out of here.
We definitely need to leave.
Right now.
Like, leave, yeah.
And Ollie says he left several bags of food up at the front. All I got to do is go grab them. And David and his group start heading up to the front. They go to where Ollie left the bags. The bags aren't there.
Of course not.
Mrs. Carmody is there waiting for him and says that they're deserting. Like, who are you to interfere with God's plan? Like, all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
And her people just start swarming like fucking children of the corn. And, and she starts demanding Billy, David's son, needs to be sacrificed. He needs to be the expiation, the blood that the monsters demand. And she says, kill the whore too. Like, Jesus Christ. They're going to kill the school teacher. And Ollie walks up, puts one in her stomach, and everyone's just shocked.
State champ.
He puts another one in her head.
State champ.
Most satisfying moment of the whole goddamn movie. And just starts pointing at people. Everyone's dropping their weapons, and they realize, like, oh shit, he's got a gun. And they leave.
No, not only does he have a gun, he can shoot.
Yeah. Mrs. Carmody's dead on the floor.
Most movies, the guy can't shoot.
Nope.
This guy can.
This guy's best assistant manager of a grocery store ever.
Look out, Dwight Schrute.
I love Ollie so much. I love the bullet. When I read it, I had the same reaction as when I watched it.
I bet. It's fantastic.
So they leave. They make it to the parking lot. Ollie gets ripped in half by the praying mantis. The gun ends up on the hood of the car.
We knew, right? You kind of know.
I didn't want it.
Of course
I didn't
not.
want it to
Like,
happen.
this guy's too... He's too much of a side character, too nerdy, and too, like... Too much of a hero.
Yeah.
To live. Only the good die young.
Truck guy with the shotgun gets eaten too. I liked him.
Yeah.
Bud, the assistant manager, runs back into the store. And I thought they weren't going to let him in the store.
I know.
They did. David, Billy, Dan, and Amanda and Irene make it to the car. And the survivors just watch them drive off. When they're just driving past the window and they're all looking at him like, oh my God, they got out. Yeah. Like,
right.
Fuck you guys. The music is perfect.
See you later, motherfuckers. You know, like from Hangover. I feel that exact quote.
They're all just so like, what have we done? They're trying to figure out, what do we do? And they're just like, let's keep driving until we get out of this shit.
Yeah, and okay, that brings up my favorite. The thing that makes this such a good movie to me, aside from it being like an awesome horror movie, is that very like emotion of you get stuck in a scenario, your phones are all dead, everything's you're kind of disoriented, and you don't focus and sit back for a second and relax. You like, look, what's the next thing we have to do? Next thing. And this is how most I think populations, especially at grocery stores, would operate. And they would allow whoever's going to take control because people are like kind of weak and vulnerable.
Most people are sheep.
Yeah, so if you have, like I work at H-E-B, giant grocery store. So if this happened, it's a much bigger scale because it's a giant store. Yeah. But there are definitely people I work with that I know who would try to like, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do. And that's the way things go. That's how like situations go, whether it be back against the wall against a giant monster with tentacles or just like a basketball game. We have to like rally and like figure it out. Yeah. And someone usually is like the captain and takes charge. In this particular part of the United States, in Maine, at this weird grocery store, this psycho bitch lady took over. But there's one guy who's like, I can't. He's like Jack from Lost. He's like, I just can't. I can't do this, man. Well,
he's got his son to think about.
Yeah, and that's like family. He's the only one who's like stepping and looking at the scenario and being like, all right, I want to live my life how it was like a few moments ago.
Yeah.
So let's get back to like, let's figure that out. But most people are just like, even if they don't have their phone,
They were only here for 2 days.
Yes, exactly.
They went completely religiously apeshit in 2 days.
2 days When you don't have your TV and your phone and a source of like a guidance of like what time it is and where things are, you lose your fucking mind. And
here comes this lady preaching some kind of answer.
Exactly. And that's what makes this movie stand so strongly to me. The Mist is that human, that extremely humane part of the film. And part of the story. I need to read the book because I'm sure it's just as effective.
Yeah.
I feel so. I feel that it's so authentic and that could be happening. It doesn't matter that it's Maine. That's happening all over the United States. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about The Walking Dead. It's like, this is a story about, even though it's focused on this one group in this particular part of the United States, this is happening everywhere.
It is implied in the movie that this is going on everywhere.
Exactly. Like this is a thing. Yeah. We're just showing you this perspective.
Yeah.
And I love that. I fucking love that.
I love the small scale of apocalyptic stories.
Exactly. Yeah. Really genius setting. We really don't leave that place.
We don't. Except for like once or twice.
Yeah, and man, it's just great. It makes it age really well, that part of it. The emotion behind it.
Yeah,
sure. Because a horror movie any movie can scare you, whatever. They can make you jump.
But if it stays with you?
But if the story and the way that people are interacting and going against each other and trying to pit each other against one another, that's a good movie.
Yeah, man.
That's why we chose it.
Oh, yeah. And as they drive through the mist, David decides, he's got to go home, find out if his wife is okay.
Yeah.
She's been dead for a long time.
Yeah.
Spiders got in the house.
Which we also figured. I had a little hope as an audience, but no. And this movie's too authentic.
No.
It's too real.
So he's devastated. They start driving south. They pass just so many ruined vehicles. And this giant, 40-foot elephant monster
thing, yeah.
Straight out of Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Ugh. So that's what had the tentacles that came through the loading dock. And hours later, they run out of gas. And the group realizes we don't have a lot of options here. It's either get eaten by the monsters or take care of it ourselves. It's the bleakest fucking ending in movie history.
Yeah.
It's so, it's tough to watch every single time. And they all decide, they've got 5 people, 4 bullets. And David agrees, they all agree it's a better way out. And David kills all 4 of them, including his own son. And then just panics and freaks out, puts the empty gun in his mouth, tries to shoot himself. It's so devastating. And he leaves the car, and immediately the mist recedes, and the military has arrived. Oh, every time. I can't believe it. Every time. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad.
He has to live.
And then
with this,
while he's looking at the military, and a truckload of survivors pass by, and the woman who left the store at the beginning is there with her kids.
Yes.
She's fine. And he just collapses to his knees, a broken man.
No rhyme or reason.
Oh, God. That's the end of the movie, man. Jesus.
The Mist.
Oh, it hurts. It's a painful ending. Painful.
Stays with you.
Brilliant. It's not the same ending as the book. The book is a lot more ambiguous.
Would you mind? I don't mind if you spill it.
It's basically right before they decide to kill themselves, they just, that's kind of the end of the book. They keep driving.
Yeah.
David thinks about it I've got 4 bullets and 5 people. What do I do? But he doesn't make that decision. He just keeps driving, hoping he finds a way out of the mist.
Yeah.
So it's more ambiguous. Is he going to get out? Probably not. In the movie, it's very much no, they all died, and he lost his mind.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He had to kill his own kid. Now he has to live.
And King apparently really liked that ending.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, there was a TV series made from the novella in 2017. It lasted 1 season on Spike TV, a channel that disappeared shortly after. The characters are completely different. The mist is able to affect people's minds, and the primary setting this time is a mall. The series was horribly received by critics, and the series was canceled after 10 episodes. Yep, Spike TV. Remember that?
Yeah. Barely.
My God. Yeah, I've seen trailers and some stills, and I just thought this looks fucking awful. I'm not even.
Yeah, no thanks.
Fuck that. Here's some Filmgazm facts on The Mist. Number 1, Stephen King says he was genuinely frightened by this adaptation of his novella. Frank Darabont described that as the happiest moment of his career. To scare Stephen King, that's a notch in the belt.
Primo. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's something to brag about. Number 2, Stephen King got the idea for the source novel when he was in a Maine market. When he noticed the front window was made of plate glass, he wondered what would happen if giant insects flew into it. And that's where the mist came from. That's just what his day-to-day thoughts are like.
Yeah.
Wonder if big-ass bugs killed everybody right now.
How would they react? Not well.
And he wrote it on the way home.
Not well, Steven. After snorting a line of cocaine.
This was the 80s? Yeah, this was middle of the... Yep.
For sure. Oh, he probably did cocaine, then went grocery shopping.
He probably was like, what should I call this? And he sneezed, and all the cocaine flew off his desk, and there was a white mist, and he thought, the mist! But first, I gotta go get more coke.
Yeah, brilliant.
Number 3, Darabont felt the novella's ending, where the survivors drive off into the mist hoping to reach safety, was too open-ended for a film, but contrary to the belief that he simply created this new one himself, the inspiration is right there in King's tale. David in the story thinks to himself that if worse comes to worse, they have 3 bullets in the gun and 4 people in the truck. King never has them act on it, but Darabont says, quote, if we're going to make a horror movie based on a Stephen King story, let's take Steve's most horrible, dour, and darkest thought and follow it out to its logical conclusion. Bet he is a fun guy at parties. Number 4, in the supermarket, Irene Repler is reading the newspaper, The Castle Rock Times. Castle Rock is a town from the trinity of fictional Maine towns created and widely used by Stephen King. Wonderful.
Hell yeah.
I actually thought this town was I thought the movie was set in Castle Rock when I saw her reading the newspaper. But
right.
It's Bridgeton.
Yeah.
Number 5, the original Stephen King novella was also the inspiration for the video game Half-Life, where scientists at a top-secret military base are running experiments with interdimensional portals and open the floodgates to its hostile inhabitants. Yeah, man. I've never played Half-Life.
Neither have I.
It's a popular series.
Yeah, I have a couple buddies who enjoy it.
Number 6, before this one hurts. Before David and his group leaves, Mrs. Carmody requests that Billy and Amanda be sacrificed. A popular theory by fans is that Mrs. Carmody was right, and that Billy's and Amanda's deaths at the end made the mist and the monsters go away.
Oh, God.
Given that the mist recedes soon after David kills them.
Yeah.
How fucking heartbreaking would that be? The only way to stop this was to kill his own son.
Kill the kid.
Ugh.
Yikes.
Jesus. And this one, Number 7. The line, "My life for you," spoken by Mrs. Carmody in the film, is a recurring line in other Stephen King texts, spoken by villainous characters to Randall Flagg, superpowered master of evil in several King stories. Flagg did this shit.
Amazing.
This is Randall Flagg's invasion of Earth. That's what this is. Mrs. Carmody is one of his vessels.
Yes, yeah.
Fuck, yes.
I'm in.
Ugh.
All in.
Randall Flagg. That guy scares the fuck out of me. I love Randall Flagg. Whenever he pops up, every time there's an evil in Stephen King's story, I always keep looking for clues. Like, how is this connected to Flagg?
Randall, where are you?
Oof. The Mist is just such an eerie, unsettling, brilliant character study, and I give it a solid 9.
Yes, same. 9 for me as well. Definitely one of my favorite, our favorite horror movies of that decade.
Easily.
Yeah, just fantastic.
I find something new to like about this.
Yeah, it's so rewatchable. So rewatchable. Even though it has that bleak ass ending, it's awesome.
But it makes sense. It's not out of nowhere.
No,
it works for the movie.
It's not over the top either.
No, it's subtle.
Makes sense, like you said.
It fucking hurts. Ugh, just everyone. Nobody says it either. They all just nod, like we all know.
So tough.
Ugh, it's one of my favorites of the decade. So what do we got for Friday's bonus?
Well, Frank Darabont, Stephen King. Mm-hmm. Come on now.
What else
1994, The Shawshank Redemption.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Rated as the greatest movie of all time on IMDb.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any arguments with that. I don't know if I can name what the best movie is. That's really hard. But Shawshank, I think, is, I'll go ahead and say, the strongest standalone film that we're going to have done so far.
Yeah.
Shawshank it's an undisputed legendary film.
It is.
Classic amongst everybody, really. I don't really meet anyone who's like, yeah, fuck that movie, you know. You hear people say that about like Forrest Gump. You hear people say they're not super interested in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
But you don't hear that shit about Shawshank Redemption.
It's such a flawless, perfect gem of a movie.
For everybody.
It's
for everybody.
It warms your heart. It breaks your heart.
Yeah.
It's everything.
And we're super excited to talk about it. We don't even need to, it's obviously a massive, big, whopping, huge 10 from both of us.
Yeah.
We're going to go into that, and we're just going to dive deep into that film because we both adore it. We'll share some personal stories about why we love it so much, what it means to us as fans, because obviously it means the world to the movie world.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it, what it means personally, I think, is what we're both excited about with The Shawshank.
Absolutely.
It's a great way to start 2020.
Yes. First bonus, 2020.
Yeah, Frank Darabont.
Oh, God. So, with that said, what happened this week in film? Let's take a look.
Oh, boy.
Ryan Reynolds has confirmed that Marvel is working on Deadpool 3.
Of course.
We all knew it was coming, but it's nice to get confirmation, especially after the Disney Fox acquisition, which kind of put this movie in danger of being
A little bit of
canceled.
jeopardy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Disney doesn't do R-rated movies, which I don't get. Just have a sub-company.
What is it about?
Keep Fox alive and do all your R-rated shit through them. Like, why is this complicated?
I don't know.
There's money in R-rated films these days.
Hell yeah, look at Joker.
Yeah. Look at Deadpool.
Those
movies were hugely
So you have
successful.
to look outside your own. Yeah, fuck.
I really hope they don't.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened when they went from PG to PG-13 with Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I mean?
I really hope they don't water it down.
That would be.
But now that it is in the Marvel universe, there's going to be some crazy cameos.
Yeah.
Captain America, like crazy shit.
Fuck.
It's going to be awesome.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, probably. Next up, Lolita actress Sue Lyon has died at age 73. Lyon was forever associated with her role as underage sex icon Lolita in Stanley Kubrick's 1962 film of the same name that follows a teacher who becomes sexually obsessed with his landlady's underage daughter. Lyon played the role when she was 15, and it never left her. And this is a film that I did like. People don't like to hear that. When I tell people that I enjoyed Lolita, they give me a weird look, especially in film class in college.
Yeah.
The Kubrick class I took, when we did Lolita, and I raised my hand, I thought this was a very good film. A couple heads turned to me, and I'm like, I'm not a pedophile. I'm just saying it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
I like Taxi Driver. I like stuff that has, I don't know. I think it's a good movie too.
Yeah, I'm a big Pulp Fiction fan. I never shot a black kid in the face, so that's not how movies work.
I also don't condone fucking stuff like that going on in pawn shop, in Pulp Fiction, but it's a movie.
Yeah. But yeah, Lolita is a weird movie, but it is a very good movie.
Effective and good.
Yeah. James Mason, Peter Sellers,
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Crazy, just all horrible people. Mm-hmm. I mean, your hero is a guy who's trying to fuck an underage girl.
Yeah.
That's our hero.
What the hell?
And if you haven't seen Lolita, it's a good watch. And I think it's on Netflix right now.
I think it is too. I think you're right. I was about to say that, yeah.
But we're inevitably, we've talked about this many times, we're going to do a Kubrick episode, and we'll talk about Lolita there.
Yeah, his movies will come up all the time.
Big time. Next up, Simon Pegg has announced that he isn't sure if the modern Star Trek cast will be returning for Noah Hawley's new Star Trek film. Originally thought to be Star Trek 4, the film may be something else set in the Star Trek universe, which is okay. I'm a little less excited about it now.
Yeah.
I like the current Star Trek cast. I think they're really good together.
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah.
And but Noah Hawley has definitely gone up in points for me after I watched Fargo.
Yeah.
So I'm down for whatever he wants to do.
He's a good writer. Yeah.
He's a very good writer. Next up, Uncharted director Travis Knight may be abandoning the project due to scheduling conflicts with star Tom Holland, who will likely be filming his third Spider-Man movie first.
I saw that, yeah.
If Knight leaves, he will be the 7th director to exit the seemingly cursed project. That is not good.
Yikes.
7 directors. Uncharted is dead. It's not happening.
I've even seen pictures of Tom Holland in the whole get-up. Fuck.
But Spider-Man wins.
They can't do it. They can't do it. They
just can't do it. Finally, Universal's anthropomorphic disaster Cats is looking at an estimated $100 million box office loss. Turns out nobody liked it, and it will go down as one of the worst films of all time and a black stain on the careers of everyone involved, especially Oscar-winning director Tom Hooper, who wrote and directed the movie.
Yeah, I don't even know if we can say no one liked it. No one saw it. No one gives a shit.
Everyone who did see it was freaked out by it.
People who saw it are people who have too much money or too much time, or they do this for a living. They go see movies and critique them,
or they were really high and wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah, or they're like into that shit sexually. I don't, it is the creepiest looking, like the screenshots that I've seen from the film. I'm like, fuck that.
But
dude.
like Tom Hooper, he won an Oscar for directing The King's Speech. He was nominated again for Les Mis, which is a huge success, and then he fucking does Cats.
I'm not a fan of him, really.
He's done. That's it for Tom Hooper.
Yeah,
Hope you enjoyed your career.
Right?
It's not happening again. And that is all for this week, listeners. Next week is Weird Shit Wednesday, episode 45, and we're tearing apart the Schumacher Batman movies, as well as pointing out the positives. It's going to be a Batman extravaganza, so don't miss it.
Can't wait.
This is a new decade for the podcast and for us, and we're going to do everything we can to make 2020 the best year of Filmgazm ever. Until next week, stay out of the mist, and if you get trapped in a grocery store, try to hold on to your sanity for longer than 2 days.
Repent.
See you Friday.